everyone, I'm Georgia and this is The Sound of Georgia. Today we have the next installment in the Today in Julie Andrews history videos, and we're looking at the Americanization of Emily. The film premiered on the 27th of October 1964, so just like Mary Poppins 55 years ago. It was directed by Arthur Hiller and the screenplay was written by Paddy Chayefsky, and it was based on the 1959 book by William Bradford Huey of the same name, The Americanization of Emily. Haven't read the book, probably won't. This was the second film that Julie ever made. She had filmed 3 movies before any of them were released, and this one was sandwiched in between Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. Also, unlike the other films in this video series so far, Emily is not a musical. It is a comedy, drama, war film. Despite that, Julie got the role in a very similar way to how she got the role of Maria for Sound of Music. Walt Disney showed the producer Martin Ransohoff some footage of Mary Poppins at the same time he showed it to Bob Wise. And so both of them separately went, "We need her for our movie." Bob Wise was, of course, the director for Sound of Music. Julie thought the fact that she had been offered the role was rather unusual, but she accepted because she thought it was a great contrast to Mary Poppins, and it might help her avoid being typecast, especially if Sound of Music was next on the list. Well, that didn't seem to go as well as she probably hoped. Mary Poppins and Sound of Music were so big that they overshadowed Emily completely. The film set in London in 1944, right before D-Day, and it follows Lieutenant Commander Charlie Madison of the United States Naval Reserve. He is what's known as a dog robber for Admiral William Jessup, who is very mentally unstable, and Charlie's job is basically to make sure the Admiral has everything his heart desires. Everything he needs to live comfortably while they're in England. Most of that being stuff English people haven't seen in years. Enter Julie's character Emily. Emily works as a taxi driver at the motor pool, and she has lost just about everyone she loves in the war. And because her beliefs are so different from Charlie's, he infuriates her. Until he doesn't, because they fall in love. Pretty quickly, actually, in my opinion. Back to the Admiral. As I have mentioned, he is very mentally unstable, and he has cracked up, which is the terminology the movie uses. And while he's cracked up, he orders his men to go in and film the invasion on D-Day and capture the death of the first man on the beach, who must be a sailor. Charlie is understandably not happy about this.
I would like to be relieved of this assignment, sir. Seems like a lot of risk to take for no particular reason.
But there's not much he can do, and he finds himself off on something of a suicide mission. Obviously there's more to it, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Honestly, it's kind of exactly the same plot as the Tamarind Seed. But that's a whole nother video. Click the card. Julie was nominated for a BAFTA award for the role, but she didn't win. The movie wasn't a huge box office success, but it definitely wasn't a flop. It was nominated for 2 Oscars, Best Art/Set Direction and Best Cinematography, both for the black and white category. I don't know if that is exactly how that works, but that's how it's written on IMDb. Because the movie is black and white. It's the only film Julie made that was ever intentionally shot in black and white. High Tour and the recorded version of Cinderella were also in black and white, but they were TV and it was the late 50s. So, actually, in the interest of full disclosure, Cinderella was colour. It was live, and when it was broadcast in colour, but the only version that was recorded and that you can find is black and white. And I think Emily did something similar. It was filmed in black and white, but I think there is a colour version out there. Haven't seen it. So now we've done the plot and the facts and all of that, and we're going to move on to my feelings on the film. What do I love about this movie? Well, let's start with the obvious. Julie. Well, maybe she was a bit of an odd choice for the role, especially if the footage they saw that piqued their interest was the same footage that got her the role in Sound of Music. But it works. She is brilliant. Emily is very innocent and sweet, but she's also very stubborn and, for lack of a better word, modern. Her relationship with Charlie starts as a purely physical one, and the love comes later. She even calls it casual at one point, and she takes the reins a lot. From a character standpoint alone, I think that's awesome. And when she's angry at Charlie, she doesn't hide it. She slaps him within the first 5 minutes of the movie. And on that note, Julie and James Garner are wonderful together. I mean, they made another 2 movies together, so it makes sense. Julie's also said he was the best kisser out of all her leading men. And oh my, that love scene. I don't think it caused any waves the way the opening of Torn Curtain did. When that film came out, she was the biggest name in Hollywood because of movies like Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. And as I said earlier, with this film it was like it was almost forgotten because of Sound of Music and Mary Poppins. And it can also get really funny. Charlie is just so sardonic, and he and his friend in the Naval Reserve, Buzz, play off each other perfectly. And then Hershey bars. I don't know if this explicitly falls under what I love about this movie, but if you've seen the movie you know what I'm talking about. I had never had a Hershey bar ever until after I saw this movie. Or if I had, I have absolutely no recollection. After I watched the movie I'm like, I want a Hershey bar. As an Aussie, that isn't quite as easy for me as it is for those of you in America. But I finally got to have one, I think it was on my 19th birthday, after wanting one since I saw the movie, and sorry Americans, it's not even close to the best chocolate bar I've ever had. But I'm glad I had it anyway. And that's everything for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, have you seen the Americanization of Emily? If you have, what's your favourite part? Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next week. So long, farewell!